After years of silence, speculation, and endless rumors, it has finally happened. Mel Gibson has officially revealed the cast for the resurrection of the Christ. And this time, everything is different. Not just the story, not just the scale, but the faces that will bring one of the most sacred moments in Christian history back to life. For many viewers, this announcement comes as a shock. Familiar names are gone. New actors have stepped into roles that carry enormous spiritual and cinematic weight. And naturally, one question rises above all others. Why? In this video, we're going to break it all down. From the newly announced cast and who these actors really are, to the deeper reasons behind the unexpected casting decisions. Because this isn't just a film update. It's the beginning of a new chapter in one of the most powerful stories ever told. Jaakko Ohtonen, cast as Jesus. When Mel Gibson chose Jaakko Ohtonen to portray Jesus Christ in the resurrection of the Christ, the reasoning was straightforward. He needed a face the audience would not recognize. Instead of casting a well-known actor, Gibson deliberately selected someone with minimal global exposure to avoid comparisons with Jim Caviezel and to keep full attention on the character itself. Ohtonen's restrained acting style, focused on stillness, subtle expression, and controlled emotion, also aligns with Gibson's cinematic approach, where intensity is often conveyed through silence rather than dialogue. Jaakko Ohtonen was born and raised in Finland, growing up in a relatively private environment away from the entertainment spotlight. Unlike many actors who enter the industry through large studios or commercial exposure, his path developed gradually through local theater and smaller European productions. From a young age, he showed an interest in performance, but his early career was not driven by fame. Instead, he focused on building technical discipline, often taking roles that required emotional control rather than dramatic display. As he moved into film, Ohtonen continued working primarily in independent and regional projects. These roles did not bring widespread recognition, but they allowed him to refine a style centered on realism and internal depth. Directors who worked with him often highlighted his ability to hold a scene without excessive movement, an approach that depends more on presence than action. This characteristic became one of the key factors that made him suitable for a role like Jesus, where the performance must feel grounded and credible rather than theatrical. In terms of personal life, Ohtonen has maintained a low public profile. There is limited media coverage about his family or private relationships, which further supports Gibson's casting logic. An actor without a strong public persona reduces external distraction, allowing audiences to engage more directly with the story. Professionally, he has built a steady career rather than a high-profile one, choosing consistency over visibility. Overall, Jaakko Ohtonen's selection reflects a clear casting strategy. Choose an actor who can serve the role without overshadowing it. His background, career path, and minimal public exposure all contribute to that objective, making him a practical and calculated choice for a film that depends heavily on immersion. Mariela Garriga, cast as Mary Magdalene. For the role of Mary Magdalene, Mel Gibson selected Mariela Garriga, and the reasoning follows a clear pattern. He needed an actress who could balance emotional depth with a controlled screen presence, without carrying a dominant Hollywood identity that might distract the audience. Mary Magdalene is not a secondary figure in this story. She is central to the resurrection narrative, so the performance requires intensity, but also restraint. Garriga fits this requirement through her background in both dramatic acting and physically disciplined roles. Mariela Garriga was born in Cuba and spent her early years there before pursuing a path in the arts. She initially trained in music and performance, developing stage discipline before transitioning into acting. Her career expanded when she moved internationally, eventually working across European and American productions. Unlike traditional Hollywood trajectories, her rise was gradual, shaped by a mix of modeling, acting training, and smaller film roles that helped her build versatility. Professionally, Garriga has appeared in several international projects, including action and drama films, where she demonstrated the ability to combine emotional expression with physical control. This combination is important for a role like Mary Magdalene, who, in Gibson's storytelling, is often portrayed through reaction, silence, and presence, rather than long dialogue. Her experience working in different film industries also suggests adaptability, another factor that likely influenced the casting decision. In terms of personal life, Mariela Garriga has maintained a relatively balanced public image. While she has gained more visibility in recent years, especially through larger productions, she is not overexposed in the media. This gives her a level of recognition without the burden of a fixed on-screen identity. She has spoken in interviews about discipline, career focus, and the challenges of building a career across different countries, which reflects a professional trajectory based on persistence rather than sudden fame. Overall, Garriga's selection appears calculated. She brings enough experience to handle a complex role, but not so much public familiarity that it disrupts immersion. Her international background, steady career development, and controlled acting style align with the film's broader casting strategy, prioritizing performance and credibility over celebrity status. Pier Luigi Pasino, cast as Peter. For the role of Peter, Mel Gibson chose Pier Luigi Pasino with a clear objective: to find an actor capable of conveying authority, inner conflict, and human vulnerability without relying on exaggerated performance. Peter is not portrayed as a perfect figure. He is impulsive, emotional, and deeply transformed over time. That complexity requires an actor with strong technical control, particularly in delivering layered emotions through subtle shifts rather than dramatic outbursts. Pasino's background in theater makes him a precise fit for that requirement. Pier Luigi Pasino was born and raised in Italy, where he developed his craft through formal acting training and extensive work on stage. Unlike actors who build their careers primarily in film, Pasino's foundation is rooted in theater, a discipline that emphasizes voice control, physical awareness, and character consistency over long performances. This training shaped his approach to acting, allowing him to handle roles that demand psychological depth and sustained emotional tension. His professional career includes a mix of stage productions, television appearances, and selected film roles within the Italian entertainment industry. While he is not widely known to international audiences, he has earned recognition in Italy for his disciplined performances and ability to portray complex characters. Rather than pursuing global fame, Pasino's career has followed a steady path focused on craft, often working in projects that prioritize narrative and character development. In his personal life, Pasino maintains a relatively private profile. There is limited public information about his family or personal relationships, which aligns with the broader casting approach seen in this film. An actor without strong media exposure allows the audience to engage with the character without external associations. His professional identity remains centered on his work rather than public persona. From a casting perspective, Pasino offers exactly what the role of Peter requires: technical discipline, emotional control, and credibility. He brings experience without overexposure and depth without distraction. His theater background in particular positions him well to handle a character defined by internal struggle and transformation. Overall, this choice reflects a consistent strategy by Mel Gibson. Select actors who serve the story first. Pasino is not cast to stand out as a celebrity, but to deliver a grounded and believable portrayal of one of the most important figures in the narrative. Kasia Smutniak, cast as Mary, Mother of Jesus. For the role of Mary, the Mother of Jesus Christ, Mel Gibson selected Kasia Smutniak with a clear intention: to cast an actress capable of conveying deep emotional weight through restraint rather than overt expression. This character requires quiet strength, maturity, and the ability to communicate grief, faith, and endurance without excessive dialogue. Smutniak's screen presence, calm, composed, and internally driven, fits precisely within that framework. Kasia Smutniak was born in Poland and spent her early life in a disciplined environment, influenced in part by her father, who served as a military officer. This upbringing shaped a personality marked by structure and control, qualities that later translated into her acting style. She initially began her career as a model, which provided early exposure to the camera and public life, before transitioning fully into acting. Her professional breakthrough came after moving to Italy, where she built a strong career in film and television. Over the years, Smutniak became a recognized figure in European cinema, known for taking on roles that emphasize emotional nuance rather than spectacle. She has worked across a range of genres, but her performances are often defined by subtlety, using minimal gestures and controlled expression to convey complex internal states. This approach aligns closely with the demands of portraying Mary in a narrative that focuses on silence, suffering, and presence. Beyond her career, Smutniak's personal life has also drawn public attention at times, particularly due to her long-term relationship with Italian actor Pietro Tarracone, who passed away in 2010. Following that period, she maintained a relatively balanced public profile, focusing on her family and career while avoiding excessive media exposure. She is also known for her involvement in social and humanitarian initiatives, reflecting a grounded personal outlook beyond the film industry. From a casting perspective, Smutniak brings a combination of experience, discipline, and emotional control. She is recognizable enough to carry credibility as a lead figure, but not so globally overexposed that she distracts from the role. Her background in European cinema, along with her ability to deliver restrained performances, makes her a practical and calculated choice for portraying one of the most emotionally significant figures in the story. Overall, this decision reinforces Mel Gibson's consistent casting strategy. Prioritize actors who can embody the role with precision and restraint, rather than relying on celebrity status. Smutniak's career path and personal discipline align directly with that objective. Riccardo Scamarcio, cast as Pontius Pilate. For the role of Pontius Pilate, Mel Gibson chose Riccardo Scamarcio with a clear objective: to bring a strong, authoritative presence to a character defined by tension, political pressure, and internal conflict. Pilate is not portrayed as a simple antagonist. He is a complex figure navigating power, fear, and responsibility. This requires an actor who can project control on the surface while revealing subtle hesitation underneath. Scamarcio's screen persona, intense, composed, and psychologically grounded, matches that requirement. Riccardo Scamarcio was born in Italy and developed an early interest in acting, eventually training at the National Academy of Dramatic Arts in Rome. His career began in Italian cinema, where he quickly gained recognition for his strong on-screen presence and ability to portray emotionally complex characters. Unlike actors who rely heavily on dialogue, Scamarcio often builds his performances through controlled expression and physical stillness, making his characters feel deliberate and measured. Over time, his career expanded beyond Italy into international productions, including English-language films and collaborations with major directors. This transition allowed him to gain broader exposure while maintaining the acting style that defined his earlier work. He has taken on a wide range of roles, from romantic leads to darker, more conflicted figures, but consistently demonstrates the ability to convey internal tension without overacting. This consistency is likely a key reason behind his selection for Pilate. In his personal life, Scamarcio has maintained a visible but controlled public image. He has been involved in high-profile relationships and has received regular media attention in Europe. Yet he has managed to keep his professional identity centered on his work rather than celebrity culture. His career reflects a balance between recognition and discipline, allowing him to remain credible in serious roles. From a casting perspective, Scamarcio brings both experience and authority. He is more recognizable than some of the other cast members, but not to the extent that he overwhelms the character. His international experience, combined with his ability to portray controlled intensity, makes him a suitable choice for a figure like Pontius Pilate, someone who must appear decisive while internally conflicted. Overall, this choice continues the pattern established by Mel Gibson. Select actors who can deliver precise, grounded performances that support the narrative. Scamarcio's career, training, and on-screen discipline align directly with the demands of the role. The decision by Mel Gibson to replace the original cast of The Passion of the Christ was not accidental. It was a calculated choice based on practical, artistic, and technical factors. While many viewers expected the return of Jim Caviezel and Monica Bellucci, the reality is that more than 2 decades have passed since the first film was released in 2004. That time gap alone creates a major continuity issue, especially for a story that takes place immediately after the crucifixion. From a production standpoint, the most obvious challenge is age. The characters in The Resurrection of the Christ are meant to exist within the same narrow timeline as the original film, but the actors themselves have naturally aged. Maintaining visual continuity would require extensive digital de-aging technology. While this is technically possible, it introduces 2 major problems: significantly higher production costs and the risk of breaking realism. For a director like Gibson, whose style relies heavily on physical authenticity and grounded visuals, heavy reliance on CGI would undermine the tone he is trying to preserve. Beyond technical limitations, there is also an artistic consideration. Jim Caviezel's portrayal of Jesus has become deeply iconic over the years. That legacy, while powerful, can also become restrictive. Bringing him back would inevitably lead audiences to compare every moment to the 2004 performance, rather than engaging with the new narrative on its own terms. By recasting the role, Gibson effectively resets audience expectations and allows the new film to establish its own identity without being overshadowed by the past. A similar logic applies to other returning characters. Actors like Monica Bellucci carry strong screen recognition and established personas that could interfere with immersion. In a film that depends heavily on emotional and spiritual engagement, even small distractions can reduce the impact of key scenes. Recasting reduces that risk and keeps the focus on the story rather than the performers. There is also a broader strategic reason behind this decision. By introducing a largely new cast, Gibson is building a production that feels current rather than nostalgic. Instead of relying on past success, the film positions itself as a new chapter with its own tone, pacing, and visual identity. This approach allows greater flexibility in storytelling and avoids being limited by expectations tied to the original cast. In summary, the replacement of the original actors is driven by three main factors: the passage of time, the need to maintain visual realism without excessive CGI, and the desire to create a fresh cinematic identity. It is not a rejection of the original performances, but a practical decision to ensure that the resurrection of the Christ functions as a coherent and immersive continuation of the story. The cast of The Resurrection of the Christ marks a clear shift in direction by Mel Gibson. Instead of relying on familiar faces, he has chosen actors who can serve the story without bringing external expectations into it. Each casting decision, from Jaakko Ohtonen to Mariela Garriga and Riccardo Scamarcio, follows the same principle: maintain immersion, preserve realism, and allow the narrative to stand on its own. At the same time, the absence of Jim Caviezel and the original cast raises questions that many viewers are still processing. Was this the right decision? Will a new cast be able to carry the same emotional weight? Or will it change how audiences connect with the story? Now we want to hear from you. Do you agree with Mel Gibson's decision to recast the entire film? Or do you think the original actors should have returned, even with the challenges? Share your thoughts in the comments. We read every single one. And if this video helped you better understand what's really happening behind the scenes, make sure to stay connected with our channel. Following Christ for more in-depth content like this. May God bless you, strengthen your faith, and guide you through whatever season you're in right now.